January 27th meeting of the Newcastle Planning and Zoning Commission. First item of business will be roll call.
Gordon Harness.
Present.
Carl Evans.
Here.
Will Wright.
Here.
Keith Cleghorn is absent. Nick Whitty.
Here.
Okay, we do have a quorum, and we will proceed with business. Item 2 is approval of the agenda as presented. Don't have any changes, do we? Make a motion, we approve the agenda as presented. There have been no requests for continuances.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor signify with an upraised hand. Be unanimously approved. Approval of the minutes from our May 18th and June 29th. We didn't have a meeting to review them then. And
Carl, that's the one I got paid for without coming.
Is that it? That
Yes.
is awesome, sir.
It's the June
Sign me up.
29th.
boy, now we have a full disclosure too. City transparency. I make a
Still waiting
motion.
on the first check, Jeff. Make a second that motion.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes as presented. All in favor signify with an upraised hand. Be unanimously approved. Item 4 is to report on City Council's decisions, Planning Commission recommendations of last meeting. Since we didn't have one, I'll bet they didn't approve anything. Actually, I went and they didn't. Sorry, I took that away from you.
No, no, you didn't.
You give those reports.
No, and you were right. We did not have anything at the June meeting. We have the May
Report on what they did.
report. Mm-hmm.
So far back, we don't really care,
Okay.
do we?
No, I'm good. I'm good. Yeah.
Actually, we probably should approve the minutes from the May 18th meeting. Anybody have any corrections to them? Make a motion, we approve the minutes of May 18th, 2026 meeting.
Second it.
Motion and second, all in favor? Be unanimously approved. Item number 5 is continuance requests. There were none. Item 6 is citizen comments. This is opportunity for citizens to be heard on matters that are not on our agenda tonight. If anybody wishes to be heard. Seeing none, we'll continue. Item 7 is lot split deed approvals.
So is that Hibden, the property up there on north side 32nd?
Yeah, that's where it is. Was about to ask, do we know what
That is
divided on that?
That's exactly what was divided on that. The piece that was divided, you're talking
Yeah.
about which one?
Yeah,
Julia did the lot split warranty deed approval. It was one that they had already come in. They're at,
Hibden was involved. He had owned some of it.
oh,
yeah,
I'm sorry, say that again?
Mark Hibden had
Okay.
owned some of that.
it was,
they were already divided into some lots up there.
yes.
And did he divide one of the existing lots or?
Well, actually, there was a smaller lot within a large lot, so it was a little confusing at the beginning, but the son owned a smaller lot, and he actually deeded himself the large lot. So, in short, it was like a lot line adjustment to get rid of those two property lines within the large lot.
Okay,
So the same property owner owns both the inside square and the outside square?
Yes.
Okay, got it.
cool, thank you. Item 8 is a public hearing to consider an application for rezoning from agriculture to E2 urban estate residential. Lisa, Michelle Chuddy and Teresa Sue Cruz and John R. Cruz, located in a tract of land lying in the west half of the northeast quarter of the northeast quarter of Section 24, Township 9 North, Range 4 west of the Indian Meridian, McLean County, Oklahoma. Property address is 1900 East Fox Lane, Newcastle, Oklahoma. This is R 2026-009. Item 8 in the packet.
Good evening. Oh,
Hi, Julie.
Julia Yun with Newcastle Planning. Before I read my notes, actually the maps included in your report, it's actually better for you to follow. This is so small, and the maps printed in the packet is a little bit larger, I think, that was included in my report. So. This is a request to rezone approximately 1.83 acres of a 10-acre tract from A General Agricultural District to E2 Urban Estate Residential District. The purpose of the request is to allow a future lot split to create one additional single-family residential lot. The subject property has existed in its current configuration since 2020. The applicant purchased the property in 23 and constructed a single-family residence on the southeastern portion of the tract in 24. The property is served by recorded private access easements established in 20 and 2023. The proposed rezoning applies only to the northern 1.83 acres of the property. So when you look at the map, there's a S-looking dividing line there that is following the natural creek to separate the northern 1.83 acres, and the southern part, the remaining is 8.17 acres. A significant portion of the proposed tract is located within the 100 floodplain. Any future development within the floodplain would require a floodplain permit and compliance with all applicable floodplain regulations. Approximately 0.22 acres in the northeastern portion of the tract is outside of the floodplain and appears to provide sufficient area for a single-family home while meeting the required setbacks for the E2 district. So there's another small portion that we're not dividing, I'm just pointing it out. That northeast corner of the 10-acre lot, approximately 0.22 acres, is completely outside of the floodplain. That is what I'm just pointing it out. There is also an existing 25 by 30 foot metal building on the proposed tract. The structure predates the applicant's ownership and may continue to be used as an accessory building, such as for storage or a workshop. Cosmetic or aesthetic improvements to the building would not require a floodplain permit. The remaining 8.17 acre tract will retain its general agricultural zoning designation and will continue to have access through the recorded easement from South Portland Avenue. Staff does not anticipate any negative impacts on surrounding land uses. The area is characterized by single-family residential development, and the request is consistent with the future land use maps, a residential designation. No protests have been filed within the notification area. Based on these findings, staff recommends approval of the rezoning request. I would be happy to answer any questions, and the applicants are here tonight.
There's a significant portion of that property that is outside the floodplain, but it's deeper into the lot, correct? Is that a correct statement?
Northeast corner. By the
Oh,
road.
additional, if you look at the whole lot, I'm trying to look on this map here. Yeah, all that is outside the floodplain.
Yes, that's correct.
On the south side of the creek.
Yeah, I understand.
Is that what you're asking, saying?
Yeah. So access will be off of, Fox?
Yes.
Be tough.
Yeah.
But you can't cross that creek without a bridge. It's really deep.
Yeah.
Now, is the 1.83 acres part of a 10-acre tract?
Yes.
Or is it only what's north of the creek?
North of the creek? I don't know what you're asking.
Oh, the tract,
Sorry.
This
the
is the 1.83 acres.
1.83
Yes.
It's north of the creek only.
is north of the creek. Okay,
It's
I'm
this.
see what we're doing. But there's a 10-acre, we're going further south that we're rezoning.
No, this
No,
is,
the
Just to the creek?
entire,
10 acres down to here.
Okay.
yeah, the red box, the area is.
We're not
10
talking about the
acres.
red box, we're only talking about 1.83 acres.
Right,
Of
at
the
the very
tract.
top
Yes.
corner.
Okay,
yeah. It should have been,
Okay.
so is there two creeks that run through there? Is that what that is? That's sure what it looks like.
oh, you're talking about this here, this little,
As you cross, see where the orange ties to both ends of that proposed 10 acres? Look at the two ends of the orange. Both of those look like they're in some type of restricted area.
so this
Like the,
500 year, the orange is.
Orange, okay.
The orange is
And that, is that
500.
AE between the 500
This
and
is-
and the 100? Is that what that is?
Yeah, that's the floodway, and then the blue is the floodplain.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't see a real problem with having
As long as you get a
small.
house on that place, that's the only thing, right?
It'd be tough, but it's not usable to the south. I mean,
No,
at all.
not unless you want to build a big bridge.
Yeah.
So as far as
is there water and sewer on that?
the road just
There's not sewer.
crosses across the floodplain area, is that right?
No,
Fox Lane, oh, Fox
Julie.
Lane opens on.
Which road?
I was
Side.
misidentifying where this was.
yes, they have this will access through a private easement. Julie had put that in the staff report.
Yeah.
This lot, the remainder of this lot will access through a private easement that's already been established when they developed this house back here. Because that was the only way to access this lot, was through this private easement here. And there's several other lots you can see
Yeah.
that are
in
to
that area.
east of this. Yeah,
Right, okay.
so since they have,
But that private
Basically.
easement's already in place, right?
yes, it's been in place for a long time. To the previous owners,
Yeah.
before this house at 514 was built.
Okay, so it's changed hands.
Mhm.
Yeah, now I know where this is again. Okay.
What else you do with it though?
That's a quarter acre basically that's left. I mean, to build on.
.22. Julia did all of the calculations for the development, right, the setbacks for the front, the sides, making sure that they could get a house on there.
With the lateral field, because
Without encroaching into the floodplain. Now, the 500 year, Keith can chime in on this since he's our floodplain administrator, but nothing, that we look at it, but as long as they stay out of that, they wouldn't be required a floodplain permit, as long as they stay out of it.
yeah.
And on that .22 acres, they can fit a house and still mind the setbacks. And they have the frontage and access.
Yeah. Anybody want to make the motion? Or I will.
Go ahead. I don't have a problem with it.
No public comment.
there any public comment on this application? Seeing none, we'll proceed. I'll make a motion that we recommend approval of this rezoning.
I'll second.
Have a second? All in favor? Be unanimously approved.
Thank you.
Thank you, Julie. Item 9 is discussion and possible action on deviation of facade requirements for Windermere PUD number 785, section 7, special provisions, 7, exterior facade regarding the Grove.
Good evening. My name is Amos Akena, for the record. I am presenting the deviation from exterior facade for the Grove Newcastle LLC. So the Grove is requesting approval of an exception to the exterior facade requirements established in the PUD ordinance number 785. Section 7 for the track 4 of the Windermere PUD. Track 4 is that highlighted kind of a rectangle.
That was the part that was commercial, and we decided they could go residential.
Change it to-
Right? Isn't that what that was?
No, well, it was originally supposed to be the senior housing section.
Okay, got it.
I think it's still the senior housing.
Thank you.
So the approved PUD ordinance number 785 section 7 requires that the exterior facade of all residential construction within track 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, and 7 shall be comprised of no less than 85% brick and similar material. And no single site on a structure shall have more than 15% of any non-brick or similar material. It's the intent of this provision to allow window trim entry way above garage door and if decorative treatments using materials other than brick or similar materials. So in such events where someone desires to build specific neighborhood areas within this PUD, the design theme that is consistent with 85% brick as a primary material, application may be made before the Planning Commission or the City Council for approval of such substitute material. Simply, the ordinance establishes 85% masonry requirement to promote durable, long-lasting, and upscale residential architecture throughout the development. And the same ordinance also recognizes that if someone wishes to do something other than that, they may appear before the Planning Commission for approval of such request. So the applicant is using that to propose a construction in track 4 that uses approximately 35% masonry with the remaining 65% hardy board siding. If you could go to the next slide, I think there are better images there that shows that. So if you could see, so below the window level, right a little bit above the window level, see there's brick. Over that is a 65% hardy board. Now that hardy board is a fiber cement product commonly used in residential construction. It's durable and it's fire resistant and low maintenance. It's easy to maintain. though it differs from, if you have like 85% brick masonry, it's a very good, high quality exterior cladding material. But because the proposal is inconsistent with the PUD that is adopted, the approval by the Planning Commission and the Council is required before the alternative 35% and 65%. Staff reviewed this, and we find that the proposed use of the hardy board in combination with 35% masonry creates a cohesive architectural design that is compatible with the surrounding development. And secondly, the material being substituted is strong enough, is durable, and then it establishes a very distinct theme, architectural theme for senior living facility. If you see the image that is there, we already have, I think there was a previous exception that was made by the Planning Commission of, I think, Windermere Phase 6 and partly Phase 3. But the only difference is that that was for the front. Now they're requesting for the entire building at 35%. So with that, and with a stipulation under that same section of ordinance number 785, the staff recommends that the Planning Commission approves the requested deviation from the exterior facade requirement to allow building exterior consisting of approximately 35% masonry and 65% board siding, subject to the architectural elevations that is provided. And I think that was the second slide. The applicant is here. He may answer any question that you may not answer.
The PUD dealt with the senior living area or development. It's part of the Windermere and all of it. Is that correct?
Correct.
So this would be consistent without that within that development.
Correct.
I'll note that the 85% is partly, it's a visual and maintenance issue. And
This is
Hardy board.
senior buildings.
yeah, and it's gonna remain privately owned. Probably Mr. Meek's gonna continue owning it. So the maintenance issue is his, and it's a big enough tract, there'll be organized maintenance of it.
Oh, they're gonna maintain the ownership. These don't go to
Right.
people living there. Okay.
Yeah, it's my understanding that you're gonna maintain ownership, right? Okay. And Hardy Board has got a good reputation. It's gonna be a consistent.
And that picture on the left, that's the Moore facility, and it's
Sorry, we sucker you into saying more, we make you get up.
Sorry. I need to give my address. Y'all still do that? 215 North Riverside Drive in Moore. So that is our Moore facility. We've got one in Shawnee, one in Noble, and of course one being built here. The picture on the left is me actually just kind of outside my window taking a picture of it. So all these buildings in the configuration, it's not like a row of houses where you just see that front elevation. You see all sides as the tenants are, and so that's why we want the uniformity also, because it's not, it's a little goofy if you got all, 4 sides that are seen by 4 other buildings and one's inconsistent with the other, and it's a little hodgepodgey. And so this is how we've been doing it, and tenants love it. Maintenance is all ours. This is rental, no maintenance required for the tenants. So.
I'm comfortable with it. Does anybody have any questions?
So the last time we made this exception on 3 and 6 was after the fact, if I
Yeah,
remember.
that's what my question is. Like, how do we agree to a PUD that we agreed to one thing and then we're making exceptions?
We've already made an exception.
Right.
Remember, because they already put it up.
Yeah.
And they came back and asked for forgiveness. At least this time they're asking for it before.
Right.
Yeah. I'm just saying, that's what happened.
Yeah, that's why we got to that part.
Well, I didn't remember that part.
Yeah.
Yep. That's how it happened.
I don't think I was here for that part.
No,
I
you weren't.
wasn't here for that part either.
Probably means I wasn't either.
Yeah,
Okay.
You're responsible.
yeah.
I'll make a motion at this point that we recommend this amendment to the PUD for this section.
For the senior living section, which is section 5, is that what it is?
Section 7.
Section 7.
Section 7, okay, yeah, for section 7. And
Are there gonna be more?
I think that's all the land that's there, isn't it?
Yeah, that would be it.
Guess that's my motion.
Because it's not an amendment to the PUD. It just is, because this is written in section 7, so it's not actually amending the PUD. I just wanted to make
Oh.
that clear.
What are we doing if we're not amending the PUD?
Yeah.
It is allowed in the PUD. They wrote it in the PUD under special provisions that they can go forward to Planning Commission and City Council for any exception to the facade. They wrote it in the PUD to do this process before Planning Commission and City Council.
Now,
So
is
that way
the
they did.
original PUD we did
Notice,
that?
notice issues.
No, yeah, no.
Where's all the notice issues for a PUD amendment?
That way they don't have to go out again, right?
Yeah,
That's right, they just come to you guys.
and City Council.
Impressed we were that smart.
Pretty neat trick.
Yeah. Well, so they're here, and I recommend we approve these provisions for section 7.
And this one you already have, right? You already own that. And more, you said?
If they want to do it, and this is the last section, we don't have any more sections of Windermere.
I thought 5 and 7 was D.R. Hortons.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, but they're already being built. Yeah,
Oh,
they are.
There's still structures to
still-
be built.
No, I'm saying section 5 and 7 is D.R. Hortons, so this can't be 7.
Oh, you're talking about, that's the plat phase. This is the sections in the PUD, but you're right, that's section 5 and 7 of the plat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
And just out of curiosity, Tony, is the basement and soffit and everything hardy, or is
Yes.
this the side?
Yeah, it's hardy as well.
All of this?
I'm not too much of a fan of the exception because of its location next to the park and Northwest 16th and how it's not connected to the other Windmere Edition. It's almost like its own development there. And, I think we've made exceptions in the past on the facade, and I think that because of this one's frontage and location and visibility to the public, I'm more on the fence of making sure that it stays with the city's 85% requirement.
I'll throw out that because it's separated, like you say, from the other parts of Windermere, its facade seen from the road into the park will be more consistent this way than if we have a different ratio on the front and a different ratio on the sides. Because these buildings are not all oriented toward the road.
Right.
And that's kind of what I was thinking. This would give this development,
You're saying the value of uniformity, having a wainscot around the perimeter rather than this side masonry, this side hardy, and this side.
yeah. And it just looks like in the pictures there,
Yeah.
it's a pretty,
I mean,
Desirable look.
you stay full. We're one of the nicest facilities and more, definitely in Shawnee, because there's now another one, but, amenity package, everything. I mean, the consistency, it's just a very nice facility. I mean, you're welcome to drive the more one, of course, but, yeah, and I never came before anyone to get an amendment myself. If the builders did on their own, we developed certain sections of it, but I've never gone through the process of amending this requirement myself. So, I mean, I don't want to be
Somebody
putting
took
their,
care of
putting
it.
their box.
Somebody took care of it.
Yeah. But my point is I didn't know about it.
It's all right. I mean, those things happen sometimes. So here's my take on this. If this was gonna be sold to individuals, I would 100% be against this.
What?
I would, because I feel like that hardy board, it may be a good product, but it's not gonna be as good as brick.
There's no
Right?
way.
It's not. So in my mind, it comes down to the fact that this is all gonna be owned by one group, is the only reason that I'm considering it. And this aesthetic comment is relevant.
Well, and I really made the motion based on the fact that of aesthetics more than durability, because it is gonna be under a management group. And it's a big enough group that it'll reasonably continue to be maintained. And it's not like,
That's my deal. I didn't want it falling on the senior citizens that are gonna be living there to have to repaint every
right,
10. And if you just brick it, you don't have to do any of that.
yeah, and that's how we got to the brick in part.
We had this conversation
Yeah.
more than once.
And that's what I was saying. The point is that we've decided in the PUD already, and now we're gonna revert it, and we've done it more than once, so that's.
Yeah. The, but for a senior living development, I mean, they're gonna be, I think are fourplexes and sixplexes, aren't they?
Yeah, 4, 6, and I don't know if we have any 8plexes in this one, but yeah, 4 and 6plexes. And the more one we've had for just about 10 years. We haven't had to do any repainting yet on wood. I mean, we know it's going to come, but that's part of it. I mean, I have a whole maintenance staff for that reason. I mean, these people don't even change light bulbs. I mean,
Right.
we do all of it for them, so. Yeah.
When can I move in? Sorry, I didn't.
Hey, come on, 55.
I can qualify. Well, I'm gonna leave my motion out there. If I don't draw a second, somebody else is gonna have to make one. Which is perfectly all right.
You know, second?
I'm thinking about it. How long have I got?
I don't know.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second to recommend approval for this, this, what?
The Grove.
Yeah, the Grove. All in favor signify with an upraised hand. 3 pro, 1 neg. We'll recommend approval. Or no, we're giving
Who's the
approval.
name?
I said no.
I don't remember that.
It's okay.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Item 10 is discussion of, on development code update regarding chapter 153 subdivisions, chapter 154 planning and zoning, chapter 155 sign regulations.
What did we already approve, Janae?
For this,
What other have we approved in the past? We approved something already, right?
Other chapters?
Yes.
Yeah.
oh, nothing has been approved yet. The only
Not
thing
related
we've,
to this, but we did some other chapters, and we've edited languages on other stuff, right?
so, well, we've done ordinance amendments, but you might be thinking of the comprehensive plan.
No, we're not talking about the comprehensive.
We looked at the first draft,
Yeah.
Oh, this is still the same thing?
This
Same
is-
document?
Yes.
same document.
okay.
This is the final draft of, so what this is final draft for the development code update, which is chapter 153 subdivision regulations, 154 the zoning code, and 155 the sign
And
regulations.
how many of those have we already been through in detail?
none.
Okay.
Well, the zoning, you guys had, not in detail. You guys, yeah, not in detail, we've had stakeholder meetings. I've, staff and Friesen Nichols, who's our consultants, and who are well-known for doing zoning code update, subdivision, sign, development code regulations for a lot of cities, big, small, Oklahoma region, but they are consultants, and we've been working with them for the last almost 3 years on this project. So it's a rewrite of each one of these chapters. So after we adopted the comprehensive plan, that was the next step, is to update our regulations. So this is why we're updating the code, is to implement the Newcastle 2040 comprehensive plan, reflect the current planning and engineering best practices, improve usability for residents and staff and developers, provide predictable development standards, and protect community character while accommodating future growth. So that's the whole thing, the basis on why doing this update. This is just a little project overview on the process. We did the code diagnostic, and then the draft code development, and then the code refinement and adoption. So this is where we are right here. Like I said, we've been working on this since August 23, and we're right here, right before our adoption. So the comprehensive plan identified that vision, the diagnostic report, which I included in that initial email when I sent you the first 2 chapters of the zoning code and the sign code, with the development or the diagnostic report, and then we're getting into the implementing the vision through the update.
And what's the diagnostic report?
The
I
diagnostic
read some of it and I couldn't figure out.
Okay, so that's where they, basically, it's kind of planning jargon, where they look at everything in our code, current code, and identify any barriers, whether it's administrative, whether it's for developers, processes, inconsistencies in the code. Kind of one example that I like to think about is how we have accessory buildings and secondary buildings, and the 2 different definitions, and how you can only have a 1,500-foot accessory building, but if you have a secondary building, it can be 25 feet and over 1,000 square feet. So, but there's a little bit different setbacks in how you administer those. And so we're trying to take out things that can be confusing, not only to staff that has to implement these regulations, but also to, obviously, our residents, the community. So some of the things, and I'll just kind of run through this. I mean, Friesen Nichols helped me put this together with the going by what our comprehensive plan goals are, preserving Newcastle's rural identity and while accommodating future growth. So we have taken for instance, we have our agriculture district, our residential rural, and our residential estate districts, with purpose statements that directly implement the future land use map. It maintains appropriate lot sizes and development patterns, requiring transitioning and buffering between ag and residential and commercial, preserving open space but encouraging growth in appropriate locations while minimizing kind of conflicts between urban and rural land uses. A lot of this comes, though, down to, as you know, what guides our growth and where it can happen is our infrastructure, where we have available infrastructure. So, where we don't have sewer, those are going to be the where you're going to have your large lot development. So trying to keep our infrastructure localized and prevent a lot of sprawl.
Let me ask one thing, and this is just because I've got paragraph by paragraph. In ag, in the tables of 154, which, for the record, I'm not a fan of, but doesn't make any difference. But in ag, agricultural use is a special use. And you mentioned ag here and retaining it. Why did they do that, or did they means.
Shouldn't be a special use. It's not, are you talking about for the use of animals?
Animals, or
All
agricultural
that should be
activity.
permitted. It should all
I
be
would think so.
permitted. It should
Okay.
all have a P. So if it doesn't,
Okay,
if it
when
has
we
an
go
S,
through this, I'll
then we can
bring it
we
up.
can
Okay.
yeah, we can definitely look at it. Looking at different housing opportunities for different life stages, incomes, and household styles. These are all goals in our comprehensive plan, and so the development code implementation introduces cottage courts as new neighborhood housing options, allowing accessory dwelling units for multi-generational living, expanding opportunities for townhomes and duplexes, tiny homes, um, creating a broader range of residential districts with updated dimensional standards and flexibility while maintaining compatibility with surrounding neighborhoods through use-specific standards. Another goal is creating attractive developments that reinforces Newcastle's identity, establishing new architectural design standards for non-residential and multifamily development. Those are two areas where we can, commercial development, multifamily, have ability to regulate facades and bulk on different lots. Creating landscaping requirements, really increasing our landscaping requirements for commercial, not residential, but commercial, which would be including multifamily. So anytime multifamily permits come in, it's done under a commercial building permit. It's not single family. It's not one or two family. Modern outdoor lighting standards. So for our current lighting standards for commercial properties just basically says you have to illuminate your parking lot and prevent glare. Now we're going to say you have to provide us a photometric plan. All lights have to be full cutoff fixtures for commercial properties. It can't be beyond a certain, can't illuminate beyond your property line at a certain foot candle. And they have to submit those cut sheets and show us what they're going to be using for their exterior lighting.
Jump back one to where we've got our cottages and tiny homes.
Mm-hmm.
And residential are,
Integrated. Residential integrated. Mm-hmm.
and I think they were, there's duplexes and triplexes provided. And then we get to the cottage homes, the tiny homes, and accessory residential accessory buildings.
Accessory dwelling units.
Yeah. And aren't those just basically multiplex buildings? I mean,
Well-
with a lot less words, we could have just back there in residential allowed multiplex buildings.
Well, they are different because like multifamily is usually, can be attached apartment buildings. You know, a cottage garden would more be like 2 or 3, 4. Think of quad, a quad unit together and having, shared outdoor garden area, Tiny homes or ADUs are really going to be standalone. They're not going to be attached, and ADUs we get a lot of that. That's another, we get a lot of people coming in. I want my mother-in-law suite. I want a accessory dwelling unit. I want aging in place. I want my kids to be able to, live near me so they can take care of me on my 5 acres and want to have another, house there. Without having to rezone and, split the property and do that. So allowing them by right in certain zoning districts to allow that. You still have to have your lot area and you still have to meet your setback regulations. And then the accessory dwelling unit puts a limit. They have to be accessory. I think that we're at 800 feet is the maximum that you can have. So, I mean, you can't, but it would allow autonomy and somebody to have a full dwelling, Right now, we tell them, well, you can have a studio, but you can't have a kitchen. You can have, and so when they're like, well, can we have a cooktop? Can we have a convection oven? And so it makes it more and more people are coming in and asking for this.
That's long overdue.
Yeah, so that's another thing that really is going to allow that our comprehensive plan goal to more affordable housing, different types of housing styles and types, um, to bring that into fruition. Um, okay, support business growth while maintaining development quality. So, modernizing our commercial and mixed-use zoning districts to better reflect today's development patterns. A simplified use table. I know that it's hard to get used to, and staff and we have gone over the use table many times, and it is, I think that it is going to be really nice to be able to have that use table, especially not just for the planners and staff, but for our residents, for our community. It's easy to go through. At first, you have to spend some time looking at it, but I think it really clarifies what's permitted. It also adds in our parking requirement as well, so you're not going to a different section looking for that. The review process and procedures are updated, more flexibility, updated parking standards, aligned development regulations with future commercial corridors identified in our comprehensive plan. Another goal is connected community, safe transportation options and efficient infrastructure, requiring more interconnected street networks, limits unnecessary cul-de-sacs while promoting future street connection, sidewalks in new developments except in rural districts where appropriate. They won't be in ag. They're not going to be in our estate district. Standard street classifications, pedestrian facilities, and some low impact development options with improved drainage standards and coordinated utility extensions and park and trail dedications requirements. So implementing the diagnostic report, the findings from that report, because you were asking, some of that stuff that they found is information spread across multiple ordinances, repetitive and outdated provisions. It's difficult for applicants and staff to locate some of the requirements, and limited graphics with some inconsistent formatting. So it's reorganized into 3 coordinated ordinances, consistent chapter organization and numbering. We wanted to keep everything consistent with the current chapters. And we worked really hard to make sure that, especially in residential, more so than anything, with our districts, that we will not have any, there won't be nonconformities created by the adoption of the new designations. So it'll take everything in that's already current, and there will not be non-conforming lots like we have. In fact, by doing this, we probably will have more conformity on some lots, except ag, because ag's staying the 5 acres. So if you have a 1 acre ag lot, you're inconsistent, but anyway. So modern formatting with tables, consolidated development standards into dedicated chapters, and comprehensive definitions and cross-references. Some zoning districts no longer reflect the desired pattern of development, and regulations lack some clear connection and adopted planning policies. So the new code, every district includes a purpose statement tied to the future land use map. The new zoning districts and standards support community vision established in the comprehensive plan, and the updated subdivision and site design standards reinforce the long-term growth objectives. So some of the other findings was limited housing options, outdated land use classifications, and development patterns that don't reflect current market needs, and that's where it comes in, where I kind of started this off at, about cottage courts, ADUs, townhomes, and tiny homes, modernized commercial and mixed-use districts, and updated table with consistent regulations. Some of the other diagnostic findings were site development requirements were inconsistent, limited landscaping and design standards, and there was few regulations addressing compatibility between land uses. So now we have beefed up our landscaping, outdoor lighting, architecture, outdoor lighting for commercial. Mind you, that doesn't apply to residential. architecture, parking, screening, infill development, and performance standards.
Back up one, I want you
Yes,
to
sir.
elaborate just a little bit on that.
Okay.
And I apologize, I haven't read nearly as much as I should.
That's okay.
New regulations addressing compatibility between land uses. Would you like to expand upon that about a little bit? What they really mean by those 7 words?
So I'll use our maybe our ag development and non-conforming lots, incompatibility between some land uses. Put me on the spot here.
Well,
I'm gonna
that's
have to-
what-
I'm gonna-
that's what
yeah,
you're getting
put me
paid
on the
for,
spot. I
sis.
knew I was gonna
I
get put
have
on
the
the
same
spot.
question, I just didn't ask.
Yeah.
And you can answer it later. I don't have to have it
let
right
me-
now. I'd
okay.
rather have a
Let
more
me
complete answer.
think about that. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. Let me think about some of that. I went through that and I thought, okay, how am I going to answer some of these? And you got me, so let me think about
Well.
that one.
Okay.
Some of the review procedures and approval responsibilities and inconsistent application requirements. I explained one of them about the secondary and accessory structures. Some of the stuff, okay, so even in ag, we have landscaping requirements currently in our zoning district. We don't, I mean, we have the tree requirement, but we're not making people, we have to kind of go, that should not apply here, you know. We're not making people put in 5% of landscaping when they come in and do a single family house, you know. So that's some of the inconsistencies.
Okay.
In that. That's one example.
That's one. I'd like
That's
to-
one.
yeah.
I want some more.
Find some
okay,
more.
I will. Okay. So
Sorry.
identifying those type of things and then coming up with some more standard application procedures and requirements, which you all know that and since the last, remind me, was it 24? So 2 years we've been on MGO, correct, Kathy? So when we went to MGO, My Government Online, you know, all of our
Permitting online?
permitting online, not for our zoning and rezoning and board of adjustment, but all of our building permits. All building permits are done online. Floodplain permits are done online. New driveway permits. So single anything if you came in for a building permit, you're doing it through MGO. That's helped us quite a bit, but we still have to administer the regulation in that. So I feel like, and I've gotten really good feedback on, I mean, for most people, you know, and if somebody doesn't have a computer or can't do it, we have one in the office and they can do it right there. So that's been part of this whole update for Newcastle. So we've got authority approval tables, updated appeals and relief procedures, and improved administrative review processes. So, key element, chapter 153, subdivisions,
And this is the one we've already been in, right? 153?
54.
54.
Yeah, this is subdivision. So we've got an updated procedure for the sketch plat through the final plat, standardized application requirements, abbreviated plat and deed approval process for minor subdivisions, defined authorities and development review team with responsibilities, and alternate compliance and waiver procedures to provide some flexibility while maintaining ordinance intent. So pre-application, what we kind of do, we are following this right now. People come, they say, hey, I want to talk to you about how I'm going to do this 10 acres on Highway 76, and what can I do? I want to do a commercial development. And so we bring them in and have them kind of bring in a site plan. We look at the current zoning. We look at what their proposal is and walk them through, okay, you're going to have to do a subdivision. You're going to have to do a rezoning to a PUD. You have to make this, both these applications will go forward at the same time and give them the parameters and kind of what the approval, plat review, staff assessment of their rezoning request, and then the notice procedure and what has to happen for that to come to fruition for them for the rezoning. And a lot of times, and I will have people, I had somebody come in that wanted to do a development on Main Street and they wanted to do industrial right on Main Street. And I was like, well, staff is not going to make you, it is their right. Anybody has a right to request
Absolutely.
any type of rezoning.
It means
They
it's going
have-
to pass.
Right, and so then that's where we have that land use map, and when I look at it and I go, well, you see that red right there, it says commercial. It doesn't have the gray, it's not industrial. Our land use map, our policy guide says we want to develop our main street and our frontages as industrial. We don't want,
As commercial.
I'm sorry, as commercial, thank you, sir.
Listening.
Thank you for that, catching me. We don't want to develop it as industrial. We don't want many warehouses and, industrial land uses on our commercial frontages. So that happens, so then I tell them, and they go, well, okay, maybe we won't do that. We'll come back with something else. And then we say, hey, okay, planning commission, and then city council, and then that's the kind of the process that we're following right now, but it outlines it very clearly. So standards for lot layout, block design, and street connectivity, updated standards for street hierarchy, block lengths, and street design, requiring sidewalks, pedestrian connections, street trees where appropriate, and improved access management to support safer streets and future connectivity. Our street widths have not changed. We're not changing. We're not reducing our local collector. We're not reducing those street sizes. While I'm on that, no, you'll see coming up in zoning, we haven't changed our minimum lot area requirement for RF1. The things that I know that are important to planning commissioners, city, that I've heard overall have really maintained. There's been, movements for, you've heard, no parking requirements, smaller street widths, slow down traffic, I know some of these things, and I've been guided by council and planning commission, that that's not
just
something.
smaller street list, you get lots of nonsense
Yeah,
about
yeah.
wider streets.
Yeah, right, I do, we want wider streets, but everything
That's
is,
what I want.
but they've all stayed the same, so that's not been any change in that. Here you are with the street design standards as we were talking about, so everything is basically the same with that. Parks and open spaces, expanded requirements. We've had a pretty good one because we did an update several years ago. I think it was 22, maybe, 22 or 23, where we beefed up our parkland dedication requirement and also required that fee in lieu of. Basically, it's staying the same on that. You can get really in depth with amount of parkland and improvements, but I think ours is just as, right now, it's
Called
been-
in the weeds. That's what it's called, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you, sir.
But I like too that the fee is described. If they pay the fee, it's described right there with it where that fee goes.
That's right.
So nobody has to ask the question.
That's right. That's right. And it goes to that parkland, to that fund. We've updated some of our technical standards, for water, sewer, stormwater, roads, improved driveway and access management, modern street cross sections, improved sidewalk design standards. Basically, requiring a little bit more sidewalk widths on some collector streets, and where it's not just put a sidewalk in, giving some real standards to it, and enhanced construction plan requirements. Also, better drainage and utility coordination. Zoning. So there's our previous zoning district and the new zoning district. We've got ag is staying the same. So E1 is now the RR. And E1, what we did is we took it down from a 2-acre requirement minimum to a 1-acre requirement.
So E1 is 1 acre or more?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. And then E2 and 3, which E2 was the 1 acre and the E3 was the 27,000 square feet. We took that to RE, and that now is exactly a 1/2 acre instead of the 27,000 square feet. Because we've had, well, you've seen multiple subdivisions come in, and what do? They end up writing a PUD so they can do the 1/2 acre instead of the 27, because that's the minimum requirement for on-site treatment for your waste.
For ladder field.
Yep. Then we've created the RS is the RF1. That's basically a new single-family residential. Instead of calling it RF1, it's RS to follow in line with the abbreviations. And then residential integrated takes in your RF2, 3, your R mobile home, and then, no, sorry, it only takes in the 2 and the 3. And then the residential multifamily is your mobile home RF.
Residential integrated is
RF
duplexes?
Yeah, duplexes and RF3, triplexes, multifamily,
So
cottage.
is 2 and 3, I'm sorry, yeah, is it cottages?
Yes.
Is tiny homes in that too?
That would be in tiny homes, manufactured homes, in the residential integrated.
And okay, it doesn't matter, because they're not 2, they're just 1 now, okay?
Yeah. And then your
We don't
mobile home,
currently allow mobile homes in smaller than 5 acres though, right?
pardon, unless you're a mobile home park. And you could have a mobile home
Okay.
park. Yeah, that's what
Okay.
that's, if they want to develop a mobile home park. We're getting lots of inquiries now because you know that everything that's been announced, the hospital, I mean, it was in the paper, they're gonna have the groundbreaking, you know, and it's been announced, and there is a lot of inquiries for, I wanna make an RV park. We've had several people come in and they just wanna make an RV park on their land, and then we go, well, you have to do this. You're gonna have to count for your stormwater, you have to pave your roads, you're gonna have, and then they realize, oh, it's not just I can't pull mobile homes on grass and, you know,
Call it good.
I
So
call
when,
it good.
I didn't see the paper article, when do they start digging, do we know?
I do not know when they're starting to dig, but
I'm sure I can Google it, I'm
yeah,
sorry.
they're, but
So groundbreaking, Friday.
Okay,
Oh, this Friday.
Yeah, this Friday.
okay. They're starting on the pharmacy first, are they starting on the pharmacy first? Starting on,
I don't know that part.
okay,
I think it's the hospital.
Hospital, yeah.
well, I know,
That's like the actual hospital part of the hospital.
okay.
you're right, they're doing different, they have a pharmacy component, hospital, ER,
MOB.
I mean, the plans are, you know, you've heard the mayor talk about it in depth, and now the nation has announced it, and yeah, they've got their groundbreaking. But since that is known, there are a lot of more development inquiries for, what can I do with my land?
Temporary housing,
Yeah,
what you're talking about.
yeah,
And
You would like
housing
to-
is not cheap in this part of the world.
no, it is not. So CN1 and office are now under commercial neighborhood, and the C2 and office 2 is under the commercial regional. So basically the CN1 is in the office, the light office use is commercial neighborhood. Not too much change there really at all. Same thing with commercial regional for the CC2. What we did on the industrial districts is the light industrials basically IL now, same thing. But instead of having 2 heavy industrial or a moderate and heavy, we just made a heavy industrial district. There wasn't that much difference between the 2, maybe very little, you know, but easier just to have it. And we don't have a lot of IM1 designation in
Yeah, there's not a lot of purple on that map,
There's
we've
not.
covered that.
Yeah. And then PUD, we're allowing a planned unit development. It's a zoning designation, but also a mixed-use development as well. So this is the table that you'll see now. Instead of going through and it spells it out, we have it in a table, which you get your lot area, your lot width, your coverage, your setbacks. It's all nicely put into a dimensional standards table, and then your applicable development regulations for your parking, landscaping if appropriate, and any other ones are found in the sections below. Updated use tables and use-based standards. Land use is allowed by zoning district by right or special permit. Minimum parking ratios are in that use table, like I said, and then specific regulations for certain land uses to mitigate any adverse development impacts, and regulations for accessory and temporary uses are established, and all use type definitions are located in that definitions section.
So your second bullet on that previous one is rations, I don't think we're
Yeah.
doing.
I know, I just noticed that I corrected it when I said it.
Yep, I know. Just in case
But
you're
it
gonna
is.
give this
I am
presentation
to the
again.
city council. Yeah, I will
don't
be.
have any iron
Thank
rations.
you. I don't want any rations. Thank you. So there's the modernized use table. So you have all of your zoning districts, and you are correct. They do that. They must have got This is not correct, and I'm sorry, I did not catch that. When I went through this, I was not looking at the table itself, I just looked at the table. But all of the ag operations, those are allowed by right. The stable, so, well, the feed farm supply would be a special use. If you're gonna have like farm supply, commercial business and ag, I'll have to go, I can go to, I wanna see if that.
Was that, I mean, I realize that would be on agriculture land, but that's actually a commercial application, correct?
Well, and deeper
Yes, it
in,
would be a commercial application.
deeper in, there's a area that I've got a note, well, I've got a note there too, but, if, I don't remember, well, I can go find it.
Okay, so any ag operation would be like if I'm gonna have a cattle operation, or if I'm gonna have, I'm raising
That's just ag, right?
turkeys.
That's
Yeah.
just ag.
Agri-entertainment.
Yeah, what is that?
That's like what the Barn at Country Club is. It's like a agritourism.
Petting zoo.
Petting zoo. Yeah, something like that. Aquaculture.
My wife feeding the
Feed-
deer.
Yeah. Well, no, you're not inviting. I had somebody, that was another, it was recently, somebody wanted to do that on their land, and they said, well, we just want to have some goats and horses, and we want people to come out. And I said, so you want to sell tickets? Well, yeah, I mean, I want to have people come out and, like a petting zoo. And we just want to do it on our land, and, and so it's really hard, because then that's a commercial business.
It is a commercial
I have to tell them, that's a commercial business. You can not just have your own personal animals and start inviting people out to your house and say, we're going to have buses come out and say, call it, Betty's Petting Zoo. You're turning in agriculture, it's into commercial use. So that requires rezoning. And then when people find out, oh, I have to have parking, I have to have a restroom for these people to use, I have to have,
They
have
want to
to
give them the
meet
real
building
experience and
code.
show them where the tree is.
yeah, so these are correct. That would be special uses. But then you can continue down. You got your permitted single-family dwelling. You have a manufactured home that's allowed, a modular home, a tiny home, and then you
So
continue.
if I've
on.
got 5 or 40 or 80 acres, I've got to ask you whether I can run cattle on it?
No,
Well,
no.
That's what the agriculture operation, what is that?
saying is well, wrong.
That
yeah.
one designator is not.
Yeah,
Okay,
that.
but the rest of them are right, or the rest of them are wrong?
Well, if you're gonna have agri-entertainment or aquaculture, feed
Is that
farm supply,
Aquaman, or what is aquaculture?
probably like a fish farm.
Okay.
Fish farm.
Okay.
Yep.
That shouldn't be,
Oh,
I mean,
Shamu.
that's kind of like raising horses.
Well, and some of those, and I think
Commercial fishing.
I think that some of those things, if you're doing it as a commercial operation, then that's different than I'm doing it as, say I'm
Well, the
like the
truth of the
parakeet guy, like, but he's in, like the parakeet guy, something
but
like
he's an
that. He's an
industrial.
industrial, so
But-
that's not a good example.
But I'm raising fish, but I'm not selling them, so I'm
Right.
not too worried about
Right.
you.
We're all raising fish if we got ponds, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that's not what that's talking about.
And-
So
and
clarification, that's where we're
actually,
gonna go to
I've
the
gotten
definitions.
comfortable with you knowing the difference between that, and so I'm
Are
not
you-
really griping
okay.
about that, but that is wrong, because we ought to be able to raise
I see what
fish
you're
by
saying.
commercial
That's maybe what it
aquaculture.
needs to say, and
That's
if we
what we're
go
really
to the,
talking about.
if we go to the definition, then you'll see that that's more of a commercial use,
I
so.
had not done that yet.
But the allowance for animals on ag and on the RR are still the same. You still have to have 70,000 square feet for each horse, 30,000 square feet for each cow. 20, we did not change any of that. Those are still allowed by right in ag and in the RR. So just like it is in E1. So that still is the same. You couldn't have those animals in E2 or E3 or any other
The
designation.
moment somebody comes on your property to buy something from you, it turns into a commercial.
If I'm selling fresh eggs, no. It's more if you can't have a sign out. If it's a home occupation and I want to sell my eggs, we allow that. That's not a commercial. I have a storefront and
Hay bales?
pardon,
Hay bales?
hay bales. You can sell hay bales, all
I'm
that
just
stuff. Those.
saying, I'm
No,
trying
you're
to
right.
find out where the
Yeah,
where the line is.
it would be. It would.
That's what I've got some questions here is on the feed and supply. Farmers selling crops in bulk.
That's an ag operation.
That's an
They
ag
can do that.
operation, and it ought to be, I mean, I noted
That's
here,
permitted.
3 or 5, 600-pound totes of wheat, corn,
hay,
Yeah.
rye, whatever, oats.
Beans.
That's agriculture at some point. And do we need to designate some cutoff at the bottom end that you're selling an individually bagged feeds? Or if I drove over in my truck and loaded my truck with a load of corn,
That's not what this
That's-
is. That's.
I'm just trying to
that's
see
not.
where the line
No,
is.
you
yeah,
can.
that's what I'm saying.
No. Yeah, that's not what
Do
this
we bother
is.
putting that in there so it's there, or do we just depend on you?
I think.
We need it clearer, I can tell you that.
I want to make it clear so everybody is comfortable with it, and so people aren't having those questions. Well, I can't sell hay from my 40 acres now. Well, sure you can. It's not a storefront. I guess that. And then we also need to look at the definitions and make sure our definitions are correct too. But it changes when, well, just like the feed store that just ended up selling. That is, a commercial business.
Definitely commercial, yeah.
So you have people that you
Even
have
though
a
they sell hay
retail
bales.
storefront. You're selling hay bales and I'm ag. That's a farming operation.
Right.
That's allowed. That is
Well,
not something
I think the
that
dividing line somewhere is the amount.
the amount. Yeah.
A bulk sale versus, I mean,
How many people you can
no,
help.
nobody went to Wynn's and bought 250 bales of hay,
No.
but they buy them 3 and 5 and that number. So, I mean, it's really the quantity that's a dividing factor. There aren't very many farmers that want
I'm interested in
Wait,
what you come
also,
up with.
also traffic. I mean, like our home occupation, there are certain things that you can't do that we have a lot of people that try to do them, which is contractors. I run a landscaping business and I live in suburban estates and I end up having all my crew come over to my house and park their cars
Start the day.
and start the day.
Something
And I
good
bring
at
my
my house in 76 every day.
I bring my stuff. You have to, that would be code enforcement. If there's a complaint, then we can work that complaint.
Roofing nails every 2 or 3 times a year was that.
Yeah, but so it changes when you're having employees, having signage, having that type of use. If I'm a professional and I want to have a consulting business out of my home and I work from home, and I don't have any employees, I don't have a sign, it's not commercial, I don't have customers coming and going. If I'm an accountant, I might have 1 or 2 clients a day come over, but it's like anybody else visiting, you can have a professional office. So, those are kind of some of the differences that we still are keeping in here. So, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Your ag operations, your daily kind of, I'm, farmer Bill, and I've got 80 acres, and I'm selling, my hay, and I have, just like out here on Main Street, hay for sale.
Right.
That's, that's not a side of anything that I would think about a agriculture
That's what I was trying to
operation.
see where
It's
the
not a
line was.
storefront, not commercial. Okay. I hope that explains some of it. But this is the new modernized use table. And we will go through it thoroughly to make sure that every zoning district has the correct, if it's permitted, if it is a special use, if it's blank, it is an allowed use. I'm sorry, it's prohibited if it is a blank cell.
Okay, while you're there,
P is permitted, yes.
in the residential uses section, R1 or RI, the cottage court, the duplex and fourplex, Shouldn't those be special uses? Because we've got housing addition, and you're gonna come in the middle of that and put a little cottage court.
Well, that's
Some
not the
places that
single
might work.
family. That's the RI district. So RS is the single family,
Okay,
okay? And the RI is the residential integrated. So the integrated is supposed to allow a development to have multiple housing styles in there. Where I would be maybe in the front section, I might have a little commercial section and on the front with a boutique strip retail center, and then behind that I'm gonna have my townhomes, and then I might have multifamily apartments, and then
so
I
your
might.
Quick Trip on the corner doesn't have to be zoned commercial anymore.
It can be, well, this is under, well, that would, you're gonna get into a mixed use or a PUD, because you're gonna say, okay, track one in the corner is gonna be commercial, and then behind that, I'm gonna do a mixed use development, and I'm gonna allow everything in the RI district, because I want the ability to have the cottage apartments, the multifamily, the single family. I might even want,
Sayla.
correct, yeah, yeah.
Well, actually, I was a little concerned that we were
No, the
with the
RS
integrated
is-
RI, that we're getting ourselves in a position that we're baptizing or blessing the Riverview
No,
estates, not
that's-
estates, but village.
the village.
That we just said we don't like.
Yeah.
Right. Well, that still is, you still would have to go, if you're gonna do any type of development like that, where you're gonna have multiple, unless I'm just gonna, this residential, which right now, you gotta remember, there's nothing zoned RI. There's nothing right now. So people would have to come in and rezone to that district, which probably means that they would want to do a mixed-use development or PUD to be able to achieve a development like that. That's the only way you're gonna
But
be
if
able
we give
to.
them an RI zoning, we've said you can do that here.
Well, there's no commercial in the RI. This is all residential in the RI. But it allows everything except your mixed-use building and and an apartment. It's supposed to be like, single-family dwellings, but different types of dwellings allowed within that.
I'm sure I should know this, but I've got to ask it. What is the difference between a manufactured home and a modular home?
I'll let Julie explain that. She's really good at it.
Are you great at that? That's
She's
awesome.
really good at that.
Jump right up here and tell us that,
Yeah.
because we're both interested.
Yeah.
Make us smarter tonight.
It's one of those things that's in our code, and to clean that up. But she's well versed at this.
Modular's Legos.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So modular homes are manufactured by modules, and they put those modules together at a location. And in order for anyone to bring in a modular home to the city of Newcastle limits, there are some requirements that they have to fulfill. And so, because we don't know what standards that they use in order to manufacture those modules. So there is some steps that's achievable, but some say it might be a little bit cumbersome because it requires inspections by the ICC certified inspectors, and they have to have reports done and who performed the inspections. So we look at the building, the structure portion of it, electrical, mechanical, and the plumbing as well. So they have to provide the inspection reports. And also the inspectors' credentials have to be submitted as well, so we can see who has done that. So that is actually listed in our IBC code, International Building Code, which we use there for commercial buildings. So we just follow that chapter to require the paperwork. And those have to be approved before even they can bring the modules into city limits here. where manufactured homes are manufactured by HUD standards. So they bear HUD approval stamps or the stickers. So that is a verified process. So we accept them as long as they are truly manufactured homes built by HUD standards.
A manufactured home, does it have wheels on it, or do they bring it in pieces?
Well,
I'm letting her. We're getting in the sticky part. Go ahead.
usually they are single units or what they call it single wide or double wide.
Oh, so we're talking about mobile homes is really what we're talking
Well, so
about.
yes,
Manufactured home.
right.
saying.
So since 1973 or 5, those mobile homes were manufactured without any standards.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that is actually an older vocabulary
That's what
here.
I need to understand. Manufactured homes as a mobile home. That's what I didn't understand.
Right.
All I didn't
So we
Now, modular is just a function of did they build it right before they brought it to us, right? That's what modular really is. Is it all done right before it shows up? Because once it shows up, you're already committed.
yes.
Right?
Right.
That's why you need all those plans before it shows up.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you very much.
But we do not use the terminology mobile home anymore. We use
I'm so
manufactured home. So, so
You'll have to forgive me, I'm old.
you're forgiven.
It's anonymous.
And like you say, the manufactured mobile home is the one with wheels where you can come and pick it up and move it.
Yep,
around.
yep,
The
yep.
modular home gets sort of on the foundation.
On a footing of some kind or blocks or something.
That's in place.
Yes, but manufactured homes, once you bring it here, you have to remove wheels, axles, everything, and you have to have a permanent foundation.
I don't even go down that road. I'll ask you if I want to know. That's a long conversation.
Where do
Okay,
storage container homes fit in all that?
George,
We've had those questions too, believe me.
I know you have.
that's a
I'm
form
certain
of
of it.
Thank
tiny
you,
home,
Julia.
right?
Certain of
Thank
it.
you.
Sorry.
Yeah, there'll be
Thank
tiny
you
homes.
very
I mean,
much.
10 of them, welded stacked.
Together.
Or like a Connex house.
There's some out in
Yeah.
Middleburg area.
So the use table, that's what we've gone to be able to have clear and consistent allowed and permitted and prohibited uses in all these zoning designations. And then the development standards table establishes those standards for improvement of property and ensure quality development consistent with the comp plan, and each section has its own purpose and applicability statement. Enhanced parking and site design strategies, parking ratios, again, in the table, updated parking standards. So allowance for, because right now our parking space is 9 feet by 19. So we've added in some parking allowances for compact cars, so you have more use of your parking area or your lot area. I'm dealing with one right now, commercial use, where if you have a little bit of allowance for compact cars and then your regular parking standards, well, and your handicap, your accessible spaces, you can kind of help development not require so much parking. A lot of cities are moving now to not even having minimum parking standards. They're moving to no parking standards and letting the developers, because they have the development, letting the market decide, letting them decide. I'll just give you an example that I'm dealing with right now, Dollar General, and our parking standards are all based on gross floor area, which not customer service area, gross floor area. So the Dollar General has to have 52 parking spaces. They know they don't ever have more than 15 spaces used at any one time for their patrons. Our parking standards require them 52. They have like 34 on site, and I'm trying to work with them and trying to find some outlet in the code, and there just isn't any because it's all based on gross floor area. So we're looking at more customer service area, which is
But
pretty,
they also need a way to get a semi truck in there safely.
which they
and
do.
out of.
They do,
Which
and
the
they
one on
have that.
76 is not that.
No, well, they do on this one, but they also have area in there where they could add additional parking, but they don't want to add it.
They're being
They know that they
resistant.
don't.
I get it.
They know that they don't use that parking, and so it's, you know, more parking area can create, you know, the heat island effects. You're dealing with that stormwater runoff, you know, so you have more requirement for stormwater. So really becoming a little bit more thoughtful about our parking regulation is going to be better for Newcastle overall. I'm not saying we're going to no parking standards. I'm not saying that. We still have them. It just is cleaned it up so we're not over parking people.
They need to make their store bigger and put some space in their aisle.
Has there been any consideration for requiring or suggesting bollards in front of some of these commercial buildings? I sit here at Boomerang quite a bit, and I see these massive trucks pull in right here by your face.
Oh, they just pull
My
right over
kids
the
are right
top.
here. You hear stories all the time of somebody's foot slipping off and running right through the
Whatever it was.
sandwich shop down in Mustang that almost shut down because the truck went through their building.
We can look at that. I've seen a lot of businesses, cities not necessarily requiring it, but it's one of those things that
It's just a safety
businesses,
thing,
it's a
and it's
safety
really not.
thing that people,
I wouldn't think a whole lot of money if you're just, and some of it depends on what your business is. I get that, but a restaurant where people are sitting,
yeah,
3
to
feet
have
from
some
a
separation.
1-ton truck right here. That
It depends on the type of traffic you got too.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So like I said, we've kind of tightened up and increased our landscaping requirements and taken them out of different designations where they don't need to be. And also having landscaping maintenance bond as well. So that way when people put in commercial, this is commercial only, not residential, commercial only, where you have landscaping installed, that the business has to keep that landscaping thriving until it gets established. And then that bond would get released. So overall, architectural design standards for commercial and multifamily, which you all know that we increased our commercial masonry requirement to 80% on all sides. So, and the increase with building materials, facade design, and transition between adjacent land uses, fencing, screening, lighting to improve compatibility with neighborhoods. And this is kind of our authority, this is the authority approval table, so it gives everybody kind of a, anybody that wants to look and say, okay, if I'm gonna get a zoning ordinance amendment, what do I have to do? Do I have to have a planning commission notice? Does it have to, the director, planning commission, and then city council is the decision-making authority. So just put all of our procedures into a chart. And then signs. So our sign code is a little bit difficult to interpret with the frontages and then the types of signs. So we've gone to more modernized sign categories with just having attached, detached, incidental, cannot talk, say that word, incidental, and special and temporary signs. Clear measurement standards and content neutral regulations, and modernizing our sign features with like electronic message centers, illumination, and changeable canopies. We're not allowing the digital rotating high intensity LED signs. They have to be static. They cannot be the rotating lights and the flashing. That is all.
But they can have LED signs.
They can have an LED
Their
sign.
brightness levels designated and spelled out in there.
That's right.
There is?
Yes. Giving a chart as well, so the updated sign standards and clear administration, clear permitting and consistent approval procedures, and updated maintenance and enforcement provisions, improved graphics and tables. So there's a lot of more graphics in the sign chapter as well, and dimensional standards. Okay,
So that sign thing, if I wanna put a big sign on at my farm and I'm next to the highway, is that fit in any of those buckets?
if you want a sign like,
We've had this happen a few times. We've had,
like for a billboard,
yeah, a big billboard.
so
How does that
billboards
fit?
are all special use, and they're staying special use. I've had.
And I'm fine with that. I just wanna make
Yeah.
sure that wasn't
Yes.
fitting in any
Oh,
of the
yeah.
signs.
No, those are all special use, and they are staying special use.
Okay.
And they're staying 750 feet apart.
And staying 750 feet
So we
apart.
won't have
You're not gonna have a
Take a
row
chance.
of billboards. And I really just hope that we can just, in my personal opinion, want them.
Stay out of that business?
Go
Yeah.
away.
We'll see.
Yep. But so overall, these 3 chapters have been updated. The plan is to bring these forward for your recommendation at the end of August, the August 31st meeting. And then from there, Rees and Nichols will be here on the 31st of August to do a presentation. My hope in between now and then and this evening is to answer questions, take input and feedback, and update anything that we need to update for these 3 chapters, and to get this process of adoption started. We did talk with them about that some, because we will notice for the repeal and replace of these 3 chapters in their totality. It'll be noticed for the August meeting. Timing wise for these chapters, and I'm open to this, obviously how we implement that. Had a couple suggestions from them. Our idea was to have a set date where these chapters would take effect. So January 1st, 27 is what the city manager, he and I discussed, and that's a good timeline because it gives anything that's in the process right now to be allowed to stay under the current code and won't create any conflicts. It also gives staff and general public and all of us time to learn the code. I mean, yes, we've gone through it and we've written it, but do I have it memorized? No. Do I know every single thing in there? No. Am I familiar with most of the changes? But when you start administering code, as you know, I mean, I can still look at the code we have now and I'll find new things in it, and go, oh, that's there. That's new, but it's not. It's been there. You takes time to get through and the adoption. So having this take effect, the January 1st, 2027 date was something we talked about. And then the Freeze and Nichols team suggested something interesting to me as well, is to said, you can also have dual, if you can give people an option. And I don't know about that, I don't know how that would work. Meaning, if somebody, if say we adopted it, but we are going to maintain our current code until January 1, 27, but this could potentially take effect immediately as well. Somebody comes in and they've been wanting to do a multi-generational house, but they're going to have to wait. We've had people, in fact, we have somebody waiting now until after January because of the secondary accessory structure thing right now. That change because of the placement in their yard and where it can be in regards to the main dwelling. So it was an option to have that kind of dual, where you could be under the current
Overlap
code,
for a bit.
that it would overlap.
Seems like craziness for you.
It would be.
a little bit.
It would be.
I would think
it
you
would
could
be-
allow people to select
Sure.
whether to build under the new proposed code or not. I
Yeah.
think, couldn't you?
Yeah, very citizen friendly, very staff intensive.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I'm not sure
But
it'd
only
be
for a
worth it.
short
but-
period of time.
For a short period of time. The main
And it'll
idea.
force you to learn all those.
That's the thing. It to give us a time to really get into the weeds with administering it. Yeah.
Some
So
kind
this
of like-
evening was just
It'd be hard, but
it would be hard. I'm not sure. Those are just kind of things I wanted to fully to kind of disclose what we've talked about as far as through the adoption process. you know, and when this would take effect, because that's always a big question of when does this go into effect and how is that going to
Having
affect?
tried to read
Develop.
the 400 and some pages here, I'm not sure August is a very good choice, but we'll see. But when do you want to go through the one by one?
One by one? So, so
154.002, chapter C1.
yes, so if you
Why
want
not
to,
have the adopted code control rather than the most restrictive?
say that again?
Well, if we go to 154, let me get it open. I think it's in the
54.111,
002.
002.
And C1, generally. This is under relationships of two other state, federal, and legal provisions. Generally, if this zoning ordinance imposes a greater restriction upon the use of buildings or premises or building height or requires larger open spaces than are required by other ordinances, rules, regulations, easements, covenants, or agreements, more restrictive provisions shall govern. Why don't we use the restriction that we've thought about and adopt it than something we didn't know was out there?
I'm going to let our city attorney speak to some of these with the conflict of state or federal regulations.
Or
It
other
says
local
state and
provisions.
federal, is that what it says?
This state and federal or and local provisions.
Conflict with
So
state
it's-
or federal
If we've got
regulations.
something over in noise requirements, or, well, not gonna be noise, because I didn't find any noise reference in this at all.
That's in the nuisance, it's in a different chapter. It's
Okay.
not in this. I think
The-
is what you're talking about is if we have something, you're saying if we have something more restrictive than some state or federal regulation?
No, I'm saying that, well, it reads that if there's someplace else that we didn't think of and we adopted this, and it's more restrictive, that's the one that's gonna control. Well, here, we've thought about what we want in R1 or RR, and we've adopted something, and we think that's good. If there's somewhere else in our city ordinances that says another number, because it was adopted before, or they didn't think about it, if we've thought about it and we adopt it, why don't we let that control instead of whatever's more restrictive, most restrictive? Are we trying to
think that-
figure out the way to take the most interest of the citizens away?
No,
No,
I
we
think,
aren't.
no, we're not.
And-
But I think that any regulation in our zoning code subdivision sign, it's always the most restrictive applies. It's
It really
always the
most
most
generally
restrictive.
is, and I wonder why, a lot of times. It always raises a hackle in my
Most
back.
recently adopted.
Well,
Most restrictive is what it says, and generally, that's what you find in the statutes and all that. When they don't know what they're doing, they say, if there's somewhere else it's more restrictive, let's use that one. Well, we're thinking about this now. If we want it more restrictive, we ought to use it.
It's because the one we don't find is what it's gonna be, that's all that's covered. And I see your point. but
Yeah, well, I'm just
If you
saying.
took out the local and just said state and federal, then that would cover that, wouldn't it?
Well, yeah, because, I mean, you're gonna get stuck with state and federal.
But do you need the coverage for that other or not? It's a
I think
great
these are
question.
more standard, this is a standard statement for basically all zoning regulation.
Yeah,
and
it's
that you, they
a
have
safe,
to.
safety
so,
valve.
Safety, yeah.
But
Because it has the conflict with other city regulations, with plat, anything with building code requirements that, you know, you're gonna have other sections of codes.
That's a good example.
Yeah.
We adopt the current national building code, and it can have side yard setbacks or distance between buildings that are
fire.
inconsistent with our side yard setbacks, and so it would control.
Well, the most restrictive would control in that. Most what's building separation, it's a 3-foot separation for single family between structures on each side. And ours is a 5-foot setback. Is that right? according to the IBC or to the IRC.
The setback
Uh-huh,
from building line,
uh-huh.
yeah, it's 5 feet.
So it's 5 feet in
Yeah.
the,
The property lines, not between the.
not between the structures,
Between property lines or between structures?
between the property lines
From the structure
to the property line.
It's 5
5
foot,
feet.
and fire requires 10 feet between the buildings.
That's why you have 5 feet on each
You got
side.
5 feet on each side.
Right. So.
So that's where some of
that's
these
example of
provisions
what I'm
mesh
saying.
together.
Here we
Those
thought
fire
about-
codes are not local standards. Those are state or federal standards, correct?
No, it's a national building
No.
code that we adopt.
It's federal.
Yeah.
Or is that not federal?
I don't know. Is it federal or is it what we adopt?
The International Building Code,
Right.
right, it's just an agency,
That's what I thought.
but they're national.
Yeah, they're national.
Same thing with fire, same
Well,
thing.
now, we got another deal in here that says we're gonna depend upon the international code.
Because the
I'm not too gung ho about complying with
IRC, that's the international, and then the IBC is underneath the IRC, isn't that correct?
The ICC is the actual organization.
Right, but,
International Code Council.
right, but I'm talking
And
about,
all the other I codes are underneath them. So IBC is just a leg off of ICC, IRC is just a leg off of ICC.
They're all subgroups.
ISC is just a leg off
Fire
of
code.
ICC.
and your electrical, mechanical, which we updated those, we're gonna have to update those again. But we just updated we adopted the 2018, the year before last?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
Anyway, the provision of C1 under 154.002 just kind of demonstrates an attitude of let's be the most restrictive we can be. I don't much like that, but it is the standard way it's done. I don't know that it needs to be, but is it safer?
Well,
Is it
it's
worthwhile?
easier to loosen up a restriction than it is to make something more stringent once somebody's already come in
Yeah,
and accepted something looser.
yeah.
Gives the governing body a little more latitude.
So Janae, we had a discussion earlier about how to compare our previous code to the current code.
yes,
Who's the best GPT chat guy in the whole office in the city? You guys pick that guy out, girl? Because I don't know how else to go through all this. Can you
Okay.
get ChatGPT to lay those two documents and spit out a document that shows you the differences?
I'm sure that could probably be something that we could do.
And you don't, I mean, you can put a big disclaimer on it, says this is it wasn't me.
Yeah.
It wasn't me. But
Go
I'm
through
just
it.
telling you, as many pages you're talking about, because I really want to know what the differences are going to be, right? Because that's what we're really going to be chasing.
Yeah,
Things that are the same, we really don't care about because we're okay with it.
That'd be,
Anyway, I don't know that it'd work, but
If you can get me the old version, like in a PDF, or a Word PDF, either way, I can put it in my company pays for the Copilot.
fancy one.
The fancy Copilot.
Okay.
I can plop them both in and do that.
you can? Okay. Well, I was just gonna
I'm
say,
just
yeah,
that'd be
because,
really good.
because the whole chapters are online. I mean, you go and you
current
just,
one's
Can I,
online.
The current
can I
ones.
download it?
oh yeah,
Yeah,
you could just copy and paste it. You copy and paste it and download each one of those chapters. And then I guess you could take this PDF and then you could take and you could compare, it would pull out the differences.
So I popped in the new one and just asked it to do like, I'm on the Planning and Zoning Committee.
Uh-huh.
What comments do you have regarding this document as it looks to replace our current? Do you see any ambiguities, conflicts, or items of concern that I should bring up prior to being implemented? And it's got a list here.
Okay.
So I'll add in that one, the old one, and can ask it to
Yeah.
compare and see what the differences are. Ooh, fireworks.
I mean, anything can help, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sir?
So,
All you're asking is just it changes from one to the other, right?
Yeah. But they're so different. They're quite different. It's not easy to lay
to compare.
a pie on top of a cake and say,
well, you may just want.
right? They fit real easy. They don't fit real easy. 'Cause they're not exactly the same.
Why do we have to compare though? These are.
Because I want to see it.
expand that. I think we need
That's all it is.
yeah.
I wanna see it.
There you go.
So two options. We could either,
Why don't I just do this whole section?
you
There
could,
might be
we
some
could
double up in
do
there.
this. If you want a comparison chart, we could come back and I'd like to,
Yeah, we'll just do 154.
okay, either.
I'm
A-
not asking y'all to do a lot of work. I'm just saying, if that tool's out there, we might as well take a
And if-
stab at it and see what it throws at us.
Commissioner Nick wants to do that, that would be awesome. And, I mean, but we would probably in the next
And,
couple
and
weeks.
y'all ought to look at it and see if you see anything in it that looks crazy, you know?
So potentially we could, I mean, we use our time this evening. We can also, if you wanted to, prior to the next planning commission, prior to the August 31st date, somewhere, I don't know, in a couple weeks, have either a special meeting where we go through and prepare something where we can look at the differences and highlight that, and go over individual questions or changes. Or we can have, I mean, I can only meet with up to 2 commissioners at one time. If we wanted to do that and not have a special meeting, if we wanted to, if 2 would volunteer to meet with me and staff, or have a special meeting to review that, or however you guys think it'd be best to do that.
I'm fine either way.
I
I don't necessarily have to be involved. I just want to see the changes. That way I can kind of look through it before
So then we could
I have a
send those-
final opinion.
Then we could send those, we could, if we make that, we could then make a, I know somebody who would be perfect to do that job. That we would be able to, prepare that and bring that back to you before the next meeting, or like I said, I can have, as long as I'm not meeting with more than 2, I'm happy to do that. It's up to you guys. We can do that 2 weeks prior to that planning commission meeting, 31st.
Reason Nichols would be perfect for that job.
Well, that's interesting. I mean, we have brought this up before. This isn't the first time we've mentioned this.
I mean, that's what the guy that did the River's Edge, Riverview, whatever, when he rewrote all the code, he marked out everything and showed this is what I'm modifying.
Yeah, red line strikeout. I
Yeah.
mean, it happens in lots
Surprising
of.
to me that they didn't deliver a document that way, to be honest. I don't know.
But
This is
this is just a cheat, right? This is a way to try to get most of the information side by side, and that GPT chat does some pretty good stuff. It's not all right. Don't get me wrong.
That's correct. It's thinking now.
I bet it is.
Let's see.
If Nick can do that, give it to us, we can look at that as well as the-
Start with that, and then all your notes, and we can go through our own, and then whoever wants to meet with her in a couple of weeks, or if y'all want to do it all together, we can do that. Whichever way you want to do it, it'd be fine with me.
we can do a special meeting pretty easy. I mean, I haven't got through all of the, both 153 and 154, but I've got paragraph by paragraph notes
I know.
that we can go over. Some of them are worthwhile, like the ag deal. And there's a couple things and tables that the line's out of, or it's repeated. But, and some of them are comments like that last one of mine. I don't really like being the most restricted body on the world. And at some point, Renee's gonna have to listen to me tell her about them, because she can't read my writing.
Yeah, I understand.
I can, if you want, I don't know, if Nick would, if you want to be involved with part of that, or come in and we can just meet
Yeah.
and not have a special meeting, and you could get the,
Give it all to us so
give
we
it
can
all
all
to
look
you.
at it.
You all look at it, and then,
Y'all finish your little dialogue and you have some comments you want to send out, then that way we'll have that to look at along with whatever we got. Then when we sit down in August, we can try to go through it.
so what program is it that you
It's,
were?
it's Microsoft's
Microsoft's
Copilot.
AI.
Copilot.
Copilot.
Oh, Copilot, okay.
There's a plethora of
I
them.
don't have that.
It's Microsoft.
It uses
AI.
ChatGPT.
So do that.
But it
Okay,
also
I need to
uses-
get that.
It's a separate license from Microsoft.
Right, it uses chat, but it also uses some of the other, like I can have it switch to the different ones.
Oh, really? I have to ask Scott about that. Microsoft
Scott.
Copilot?
Yeah,
It's not cheap.
just use ChatGPT.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's the same.
Well, unless it sounds like it's doing a little bit more. I mean, I know, well, it's not, I don't know. I tried to put something in today because I've been looking at a development code handbook. And I said, ChatGPT, write me a development code handbook based on Newcastle subdivision zoning and sign code. Write me, and it gave me a detailed, well, this is how you do it. And I said, well, no, I want you to write it. No, that's too much. We can't write it for you. I was like, well, you're a lot of help there. It gave me a full outline. It said,
You need something to do.
See, Norman, Edmond, and Oklahoma City have development code
Ah, there you
handbooks.
go. There you go.
Be probably some assistance to you. And I was like, oh, I need my code in there, not theirs. Anyway, but yes, it can do some incredible things. And, if you want to do
But
that,
it's not all perfect. I want everybody to understand that stuff is
Yeah.
not all
no,
perfect.
no.
It's
I-
close.
I could meet sometime next week or the week after.
Week after would be better for me.
Okay.
I've got to make up for all the things I didn't do this week because of this.
Do you want me to set something up? Do you guys want to will it be
Do we want
you and Nick?
Or
Do you want? Would that be good?
Will, do you want in on that, or do you want? Have you got?
That's fine. You two can do it. I mean,
Okay, we'll do it.
I'm good with that.
You'll send me.
If you look through that and it
Here's a
looks
deal, I'll look at
deeper
that.
than you think and you want us all, we can do a special meeting too.
that's fine.
You fine with that, Will?
Yeah.
If we do
Whatever y'all come out with, if you think you want us all, then great. If you don't, you don't. It's fine.
I wanna take time to see if it, like, the first things it's spitting out are very high level, like the things that
Oh, yeah.
we've talked about where there's major structural changes. Yeah, we know that.
Right.
The
Well,
zoning.
maybe it won't be as good as you
know
think.
that.
Right. So I just want to. There's ways to, the prompts that go into it help to curtail its
Sure.
response, and so I'm
Yeah.
trying to pull out the information that, the specific changes that
The verbiage.
the verbiage.
Around it.
Right.
So it doesn't say you have to do it yourself.
Right. That's what I'm working on.
Tweak the
I was like, oh darn.
And if that's what it ends up being, we're probably going to need a special meeting. You can't get anything out of it.
So we can call one of those.
I can get some, and I can send the document to, it's not gonna be necessarily, I can make it to a Word document probably or PDF from
Or
there.
PDF, yeah.
Yeah, but I can send it, do I send it to you first, Janae, or you, Gordon,
Yeah.
or everybody? I can't
Or
send it
you-
to everybody, right?
No, you can't send it. We can send
No,
it.
you
to,
could send it to
yeah,
everybody.
you can send it to
just can't
everybody.
Call me up.
can't and
we
talk
can't-
about
We can't
it.
have a group phone conversation.
Yeah.
You can send
Can't
us anything.
email.
Don't reply all to the
Don't
email.
reply
Yeah,
all.
that's the trick.
Yeah, don't reply all.
So I'll send it to everybody here, and then, whenever I get something substantial anyways,
Yeah,
and
that's,
then we can work from there.
So are you wanting to do each chapter, or are you gonna do
I'm gonna start with
this,
154
and
first.
see how it goes?
See how it goes.
And then let me know.
And I can do
and
the
then,
other ones too, just
yeah.
the same.
Okay, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm right, that an email is not a fully distributed email, or a
So,
multi-distributed
The
email.
most
is
conservative
not-
thing to do would be have him send it to Janae and have her handle the distribution. When it goes out to every member, then there is an argument. That's a communication to everybody.
Yeah.
And particularly if somebody hits reply all, then it is a meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So don't want to do that.
that's what I thought was the difference.
Maybe send it to me first,
thought
and then
they
I
did
can
the-
distribute it.
So just to avoid an accidental reply all, I just send it to Janae first. And let her
And I can even now. I sent it to everybody. Obviously I sent it to everybody, and I didn't think about that. Somebody replying all would make it automatically be a meeting.
Just do blind copy, and then nobody knows who you sent it to. No, I'm serious.
Oh,
Is that legal,
And there
Jeff?
can't be a reply all that
You
way.
can't do a reply all. It's not,
Oh, you
it's not
can't.
being subversive
also-
and hiding anything. I'm just saying we can't, if we reply all, it doesn't
Yeah,
matter. It only
yeah.
goes back to you.
Well, we send our agendas out like that and our packets out like that.
Yeah,
It just,
it's
usually people
common.
don't reply all. I mean, do you think I should be able, maybe I should send it out individually? Be most
I
conservative?
think that idea is okay. I
It's
think
okay
we
to
do
blind copy?
and then-
I've read a deal on
And
that.
it just goes back to the sender. It
It's just
doesn't go to
back, it's
everybody else.
one-to-one at that point, and there's no problem.
Okay,
So I still send it to Janae, or I blind copy everybody?
Just send it to Janae.
I
and
would
she'll
start
send
with
it
her
out.
and let
Yeah.
her disseminate it, and then
yeah. And then, yeah, and then is what I'll do is I will, I can send you an email tomorrow with dates and times for, be the second week in August. Do you guys have any days or times that are better for you guys than others? I mean,
I'm probably good till school starts, but
if I'm just meeting with these two, and then, or we can decide on a special, I mean, if we're doing a special meeting, I'd like to be able to do it like that second week in August before
Yeah.
we get too close to planning commission. If we're gonna do, if we wanna meet just with you two and you guys take, and
We don't know that answer yet, right?
yeah, that's what
we can do that too, I mean, cause
Let's
I was
set
gonna
up
say,
the meeting.
let's set up the meeting and then for a special meeting, it just has to be posted 48 hours in advance.
So we could still get
So
a
we could
special
still get
meeting
a
in.
special
if
meeting
you
if we
decide you need
wanted
one,
to.
yeah.
The 6th, we've got a board of adjustment, but that's in the evening, not during the
So
day.
I'm looking at the following week, and you guys are available like after late afternoon or?
The week of the 10th?
Mhm.
I'm available anytime. I might be out of town Monday, actually. So it would be,
Yeah, council's on the 10th.
I could do Tuesday, really anytime Tuesday.
Okay, that's the
Potentially.
11th.
I can do the 11th, the 12th, and 13th. I got to go south.
Okay. And the following week you'll be in? If we,
No, yeah, I'm just going to be gone. As far as I know, I'll only be gone the 12th and 13th.
okay. And then Gordon, just for
I'm-
us.
I can play retired that day.
Okay.
week, and so
I
So
could,
on the 11th would be good? Okay, so I'll send, and you would be, it's afternoon or,
morning works better. I have a 2
Morning?
o'clock, but I can.
I
make
can
that
do
work.
morning, like you wanna do like the 9 or 10 a.m.?
I'm as early as
Early?
8 works for me.
Is 8? Okay.
Okay, so that's when, that's not a
This is
special
just,
meeting,
this is
just
not a
meeting.
special meeting, this just be us. So on Tuesday, August 11th, is 8:30 or 9 good with you, Gordon?
8:30, 8, 8:30.
8? We can do 8. We can do 8 o'clock. So I can send an invite to you two for August 11th at 8 o'clock.
Okay.
And then when we go through that, this way I'll have time to get that from you. And then we'll have time to send it out. We can meet and then we can see what it's telling, what if we need to go for a special meeting or if we can work out any type of revisions that we would want to do right there.
Yeah.
Because what I'll do is I will make the revisions in-house of what we want, and then I'll update our consultants that, hey, we're making these changes, before we take it forward. Is that,
We're gonna do that at City Hall.
so we'll do that at my office at City Hall. I'll send an invite Tuesday,
Nick, if y'all figure, if you and
August.
Gordon decide you want more, then me and Will make it whatever we need to do. Okay?
Yeah, then we could,
Well, we can call around and find that out.
Yeah. Whatever y'all need. You got it? Fine.
I should be able to get something out to you, Janae, tomorrow with, I should have some time to put something together and you can distribute it out from
okay,
there.
okay.
You could do your special meeting on the 18th
The 18th?
if you needed one. And then
If we
that's
need-
2 weeks before your regular
That's-
meeting.
Yeah, that would be,
And just write it
If
down, whether
needed.
we put it out in public or not.
we would have to, that would just mean us putting out that,
Just, yeah,
just
or
post it that Friday
48
before,
hours.
yeah. Okay. care of your next item.
Well, you've taken care of that. Discussion possible action on setting date for its next special meeting. We've done that. New business, really done that because we've set an agreement and possible special meeting. Old business. Adjournment.
Make a motion to adjourn.
All in favor?
Will you second it?
I'll second, that's fine.
Thank you all. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Getting through